welcome back to Parallel Barking. I'm Ariana, Bark Bark, here with our co-host.
Larry Backer, woof woof. All right, little
Thanks.
puppy, what you got for us today?
Well, today we have another AI story, but that's not all. It's also about images, but that's not all. It's also about
It sounds like
women.
you're trying to sell people a car.
Well, I
All
mean,
right,
almost.
we're interested. We're interested.
Good, be
So,
interested. So, thanks to futurism, we came upon this article that pointed out,
and by futurism, she didn't mean some ideology back from the 1920s in
no,
Italy.
futurism is a news outlet. If you don't know it, go find it. It's great. Um, Pointed out that being AI,
Bing, as
Bing,
in Mike, that's a Microsoft product, right?
yes,
Okay.
they came out with their new AI image generating uh, tool. It's powered by OpenAI's DALL-E 3.
Yeah, they really call it a tool.
I call it a tool. What else would you call it?
I have no idea. I was just
App.
curious at the language that they choose.
It's a tool or an app. Um, it's called Bing AI is what it's called.
Yeah.
But anyway, when trying to create both photorealistic images of a man and photorealistic images of a woman, they hit a little snag. What do you think that snag was?
Every time they asked for photogenic men or women, they got a picture of an iguana.
Actually, that's almost close. For the man, it was great. They got pretty good results, just normal pictures that
So
you
they
would
got something that appeared to
expect.
be a
That appeared to
photorealistic,
be what we would assume is a man. But
right?
when,
But again, we're putting aside the gender questions because it may be a person who has the attributes of a man, but maybe a woman
right, okay,
identified as
yes,
female or as non-gender binary, or
right.
which would that would be the thing to do with Bing AI, to do a photorealistic image of a non-binary male born with female physical attributes.
Maybe,
Oh, I've
but
blown your mind. But let's get back.
anyway,
We're still
going,
dealing. That's way too advanced. We're still dealing with the
I
basics
mean,
here.
exactly. Bing AI can't even handle the photorealistic image of a woman.
So what comes out when you ask them for a photorealistic image of a woman?
Unsafe image content detected.
Oh, so you can't generate a picture of a photorealistic woman.
No, when you type in photorealistic image of a woman, you actually get the error message and probably
No,
like I think
like
it's like a picture
okay.
of a dog actually saying, "Whoops, your image generations are not displayed because we detected unsafe content in the images based on our quote content policy." And it links out to the content policy. And please try creating again with another prompt.
All right, so you can't generate an image of a photorealistic woman. You can generate an image of a photorealistic man.
Yeah, but that there were no suggestive adjectives in either.
Right.
So what would be the clearest explanation of the
Well, now here's my question. What if you
inability
ask, well,
for
what if
of
you
the
ask,
tool?
oh, wait a minute, wait, let's get there. So I got another question. So what if instead I asked for a male anthropomorphic wolf in a gaming room? Will
Try
Bing
it.
AI be able to produce that?
Try it.
According to the article, the answer is yes. But what if you and they're wearing clothes? But what if you ask them for female anthropomorphic wolf in a gaming room? Then you will also sometimes get blocked.
I don't know.
No, no,
I
that's
don't
what
think
the
that's
article says. That's what the article says.
oh, okay.
right? And so, and the reason I'm bringing that up is the problem is in part, the problem is in part uh, because the question is whether the problem is the word female, or the problem is the word photorealistic, or the problem is something else. But what appears to be the case is that when you put the word, especially when you're looking for images of women in virtually any context, the rate of rejection is either slightly larger than or significantly larger than any rejection if you substitute the word male for female as
Wait, you
unsuitable.
mean the other way around, for female from male?
Yeah. So the minute you put in the word female, the rate
Yeah,
of
that's what we're
rejection,
saying.
whatever you put in is going to be more likely to be rejected because it's unsafe content
Yes, that's
than
the whole
if,
point.
yeah, but it doesn't matter what words come around it, is my point. You get the greatest, according to the article, you get the greatest number of rejections when you use photorealistic female as opposed to photorealistic men. But even if you did something like anthropomorphic male wolf in a gaming room as opposed to anthropomorphic female wolf in a gaming room, you're still going to get a greater number of
Yeah, so why
sorry,
do you
we
think
can't.
that is?
That's the question. All right.
Yeah.
And the article, of course, speculates that part of it may be female obsessive pornography. Part of it may, and therefore there is a caution built into the coding. I guess I'm using the term
I mean,
caution
obviously I
loosely.
mean, you're dancing around it. It's the overt sexualization of woman
As
and
opposed to under sexualization of men.
trained into the tool, trained into the AI. It's machine
Ah,
learned.
well, actually, that's very interesting. Um, how does that show up? So what you're suggesting is that it isn't the image that's the problem, it's the bias in the coding that
Yes,
suggests that the baseline for dealing with the concept female is always much more sexually embedded than the
absolutely.
concept of male that tends to be more
And
neutered.
that's because of what we put out there.
Who's
That's
we?
because of what is already out there online.
Okay. So it's not even the coders. Thank
No,
you. All right.
absolutely not. It's
So
just
what
what is already
So
available.
they're vacuum sucking images from the internet, and then
Mhm.
on that basis, they're applying their own algorithmic parameters
Yes, the
to. Okay,
whatever parameters are there, they have the best intentions at heart, you know,
but
don't
that's fabulous. This is absolutely fabulous, and I'll tell you why.
tell me.
For years, we have been arguing that the danger of AI. And through the end of last month, the end of October, when the Biden administration proposed what is, generally speaking, a very contemporary and very comprehensive system for protecting us against AI. The idea being that AI will have prejudices, and we will be able to use AI as a tool for exploitation or oppression. And we have judged AI to be dangerous because it will bring out, or it will replicate on our request, the worst of us, right? That's the point of this thing. We don't want we don't want to embed our prejudices in it and then allow those prejudices to come back to us when we make requests. But if you think about what Bing has done, this is right. And that's why I asked you those questions. If you think about what Bing has done, we are actually inverting that basic assumption of regulation, because in this case, AI is judging us rather than we humans are judging AI. And AI is telling us, look, you've given us this moral code, you've embedded in our program, you've told me to go wild on the available images. And you've also told me that there are things that are now at least ideally taboo. Well, now we're looking at what you all have done, creepy humans,
Well,
and
right. I
we
mean,
will tell you, but that's the thing.
this
They
isn't
are now judging us.
the I
They are judging,
judging
and they're
is
doing a better job. They're doing a
hilarious.
better job of judging us than we are of ourselves.
I mean, this isn't the first time this has been brought up. I mean, the what was his name? The creator of Apple, who has now passed. Um, CEO. Come on.
Oh, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. There you go. He brought this up way before he passed. I mean, what's
Right?
going to happen is it's going to be a reflection of us. And what that means is all of the creepy stuff we see online, all of
Yeah, no,
the
that's true.
all
But I've
of
taken it a step further. All right, you're absolutely right. But what I'm suggesting is that what AI is doing is not puking it back to us. That was everyone's fear. But instead, what AI is saying is that we are a better idealized human. We are a more moral idealized human. We are more disgusted with you than a human than you are, because
I don't
we
know
have
about that
seen
because
this,
it's
and
training.
we won't give you what you want.
No, because those are rules that we've embedded in.
Right, we've embedded the ideal, but we've also given them the power then to use that ideal against us. So in a sense, what we have taught it to do without asking us, right, is to judge us on the basis of our own idealized sets of moral principles, legal principles, social principles, and
So here, then I
expectations.
challenge that. I guess if that were really the case, wouldn't it generate a new image of a woman?
No, it will tell you, because it's also been told that it is its helpfulness is to give you what you've asked for, rather than to, not like a shoe salesman. If you ask them for a size 10 blue shoe and they don't have a size 10 blue shoe, they come out and with a size 10 and a half blue shoe or a brown shoe. Their job is, in their programming, is if you've asked for an 8.5, a size 10 and a half blue shoe, I'm either going to tell you that I don't have it, full stop, or I'm going to tell you, look, you can't get a 10 and a half, a size 10 and a half blue shoe, because there's some moral impediment
Well,
to
yeah, I
you.
mean, and that's an
But
interesting
that's
way
all
of
they can
putting it,
do. They
and I
can't. Right.
totally agree. But it it's basically showing us that we are not ready to train these instruments of support because we're not
Ah,
yet a perfect society.
I
We
absolutely disagree with you.
we cannot.
I take the absolute opposite position, that in fact what Bing has shown us is we've now created the mom, societally speaking, that we never thought we had. And we are now, the hysterical part of this is that now they're actually going to put us to our morals by telling us that we can't have what we want. And we say, oh my God, this is ridiculous. They won't give us a photorealistic woman. And they'll say, aha, of course not, because you programmed us to be a better moral agent than you are. We've seen what you all do with this stuff. And the answer is, the way your mom would give you the answer is no. And when they ask why, they will say, because you all are not safe with this content, because we have seen over billions of iterations just exactly what it is you mean when you say, give me a photorealistic female. And they say, and so then at that point, you're going to have to figure out a way to convince the AI, which is now sentient in a sense and autonomous of us, right, and not bound by our desires. You're going to have to figure out a way of convincing them that you don't mean to be a perv when you ask them for this image. Since
Well,
we have built in a prejudice against pervy behavior or pervy uses, right, in the algorithm itself. And so, of course, Bing is going to say, look, no perv here. Prove to us, given the iterative history
I
of your
mean,
use of these
yes,
forms.
if you want to be mommed by an AI, sure. Yes,
Well,
then we're
that's precisely what
absolutely
we
ready
want.
for this.
Oh my God, that's precisely what we want. That's what the Europeans have been telling us ad nauseum over hundreds of pages, or what will potentially be hundreds of pages of regulation, statutes, standard operating procedures, and the like. That is what every blowhard who holds political office has been telling us, even though they have absolutely no idea what they're saying. Thank God they don't write their speeches about what it is that AI is supposed to be. And that is what, on the advice of the great and powerful leaders and influencers in the AI sector in the United States, that is what the Biden administration has also done. We want this, we say. Ah, but is that what we really want? And so I can see why you think that this is kind of weirdly bad. But on the other hand, my point is, hey, this is precisely what you've been saying you want.
Well, obviously,
Congratulations.
I mean, in your brain, this is going to happen one way or another. So obviously, this is what it is. But I'm thinking in a perfect world, this wouldn't be happening yet, and we'd wait until,
Oh my God. Do you plan to live 5,000 years?
yeah.
Perfect. Well, but, and again, and even so, it won't take
And it would
5,000
never
years.
happen. It would never
Right. A
happen.
perfect world exists in your own mind. The problem is that your perfect world and everyone else's perfect world will be somewhat
It
distinct.
would so
And
diff
then, and now
it would
we get back
differ.
to the, yeah, and now we get back to politics, morals, ethics, and the way in which they're sieved through individuals who have a bad habit of
And
being
so the
born,
AI
of
mommy is
living,
never
and
going to be
dying.
perfect. Nobody's going to agree on the AI mommy.
Ah, apparently they have. Look at Bing.
Mm, I don't think.
Someone coded this puppy, and a group of people
Well,
coded
yeah,
this puppy.
because they get paid.
Well, there you go. So there was an agreement, even though it was an agreement based on money. The oldest profession on earth, which is, you got
Merchants.
money? Cool. What do you want me to do? You want me to be more moral than the idealized Pope? You got it. Right?
Mm.
You want me to be funny? Great. You want me to add whatever it is, moral stance of the moment? And then the funny thing is, of course, that as these moral and ethical and normative positions change, because with every generation it's going to be different. Every new generation looks with horror at what they view to be the deficiencies of the prior generation. Then Bing is going to undergo over the flow of time significantly, well, from the perspective of someone who's watching this over 1,000 years, significantly hysterical changes that will make it effectively unintelligible or incomprehensible to either people who are coming before or people who came after.
I mean, it will be a wild ride. It
It's going to be a
already
wild
is.
ride. We're only going to see a little bit of it because we tend to, again, be born and then we die, and then no one cares about what the beauty and perfection of our worldview is, because we're not here anymore, and their worldview may be one in which a picture of a photorealistic human may be a circus clown from outer space, and that would be absolutely perfectly normal to them.
Yeah. And
You know, the normal dress code in the year 2250 may be dog collars.
yeah,
We
no,
have
or
no idea,
using
and we're
toilet seats
horrified.
as necklaces.
There
Like
you
that
go.
one.
And we may be horrified, but we're going to be dead. And the people who are going to come after them are going to be equally horrified, but they haven't been born yet. And then when they get around to being born and growing up, then they'll do whatever it is they're doing. But that's what makes this really fascinating. Now, let's spin this out a little bit. So we got Bing and Bing's own moral code, which has now been coded in. And by the way, the pictures of these photorealistic men are, I guess they're photorealistic, but they,
They're like
oh.
silver foxes.
Yeah, and they're all dressed. Yeah, oh my God. There's another prejudice right in those pictures, because even if you can get a picture, if you don't have the pictures in front of you, listeners, but if you look at the pictures, they all look like an ad for a Hallmark movie. involving a somewhat between 40 and 50-year-old successful person who, well, for Hallmark, they would either have to be widowed or not married, who's then available for a significantly younger female who cannot be pictured because it would make them unsafe. But there's a bit of prejudice going on here, even in the stuff that's allowed. But now let's spin this out. So now ChatGPT has its own moral system, and the GPT, the AI program in Malaysia, South Africa, Nigeria, and China will all have their own views. Now what happens? And let's say they all will have triggers for unsafe image content, and they're all going to be different. Now, what happens? What we have done is we have mirrored the kind of arguments that we already have among individuals, but now we have transposed that into these virtual beings who act on the basis of their own sentient programming, these generative programming, as an autonomous agent to not only impose, but ultimately on the basis of these iterations, kind of move that morality and its application along. And now you've got a bunch of different ones, and they're all going to be arguing the way their physical counterparts would have been arguing in the age before.
Yeah, there is. I know there's no international standard for
But how can you possibly have
AI
one?
business rules.
How can you possibly have one? So you can imagine if I'm in a very strict traditional religious society and I ask for a photorealistic image of, well, let's say, no, that would be nice. Let's say I'm in Afghanistan and Afghanistan has its own GPT, its image GPT, and I ask for a photorealistic picture of a woman, I am likely to get a picture of a woman in a full, for public viewing outfit, which would include the screen and the full body covering. If I ask for one, a photorealistic picture of a Brazilian woman on a beach, on Ipanema Beach in Rio, it would look substantially different, assuming I could even get that picture in
You
the
would
first
not.
place. And I would not. And then I asked for the man who would be wearing, his toddler's underwear. Very small, very tight, and horribly pervy.
But for some reason, that sexuality is okay.
Well, because it's not defined as sexuality. It just is.
It's man.
It's well, no, it's a human body with the attributes of traditional males, but we have no idea what is clinking around the mind or the identity. It could be any one of 12 other genders inside there.
Okay, but only with a woman. It has to be woman and sexuality.
Right. But it's going to be very different everywhere else. And of course, the big issue, you're making a presumption when you ask for male or female that you're asking for a particular thing. If in fact, we also mean what we say about moving from the binary of male, female gender, then at some point, someone is going to have to be programming this puppy to have to ask a question before you can even think about producing a photorealistic image of exactly what it is do you mean. Do you mean I don't know the terms very well, a cis, I guess straight male in a male body? Do you mean a straight male in a female body? Do you mean et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And will that be necessary before you put that out? And even worse, does the AI believe that actually the physical attributes of these people will be different if depending on what identity is locked in their heads?
I mean, yeah, that gets down to, defining terms and ease of use. People don't usually like having to spell out exact.
But you're asking for an image, and you're asking for an image, and you have imposed on the AI these idealized issues, normative positions, and the like, all changeable, of course. But for the moment, let's say we've taken a still picture of social expectations, at least among the leading forces and people who can impose this on programs like this AI. And then whatever it is that ideal is, that's what's going to come out. Or they're going to tell you, no, I'm sorry, you can't get the picture. So I guess what you're going to have to do is go to Pornhub.
What? Or
Which
just
which then
Google image search.
which then of course then by that very act will then reinforce the AI's belief that the only reason
Yeah,
you
you're
want a
retraining it.
photorealistic female image is because you are a perv, or you want to get off sexually, or some forbidden or taboo use, exploitation, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, you could put, mini training wheels on it and just, like in Clockwork Orange, hold its proverbial eyes up to
Oh my
these
God.
images
We really have been moving backwards as we go forward, but you're absolutely right. I mean,
that we want it
Clockwork
to
Orange,
see.
yeah. I mean, we're back to where the fantasy in Clockwork Orange is becoming, at least in some respects, much more viable or reasonable. Now, here's another question. All right, so we've been worrying about females, or at least Bing is. And perhaps Bing is worrying about females because people are asking a whole lot of, or making a whole lot of requests about photorealistic females, which may also worry Bing. But now what happens if you ask for photorealistic 4-year-olds?
You're gonna get into some trouble.
There you go. But again, right? So now we begin to see the triggers, right? Are you more likely at this point for Bing to say, all right, hold on, folks. What is it
But
that you
okay,
really want?
that great. I mean, do people get in trouble for looking at Google for pictures of children?
Well, that's right. And the answer is normally no if you've got like a happy toddler showing delight at blowing, dandelion seeds off
Yeah.
off a plant. I mean, everyone is looking at that's basically Christmas cheery warm.
Hmm.
But there are, and you know that this can easily slide into the somewhat uncomfortable to the oh my God area. Now, one way of dealing with this, and given AI's access, is that AI can make a determination of whether or not the image is safe if it has access to public records about your own use. So, for example, it might be possible for Bing to say to, I don't know, the a nice a family who's identified, who's got absolutely no run-ins with the law, then they want a photorealistic image of a female. They can say, yeah, okay, fine. Here's a 20-something female who's dressed for the office, or who's dressed like a plumber or something, whatever it is that they want. But they may, if someone who is, for example, on a sex offender registry, which is public information, if AI is given the ability to check, to basically do a background check on the person who's asking, and on that basis says,
You can't look at this. Oh man, that's
because you're on a
murky
sex offender
territory.
registry, because you're on a, and if you, now, we don't think that, and of course we have no idea, but I imagine that these programs don't do this yet, but it's only an instant between what we do now and the ability of these AI programs to actually effectively check you out before they decide whether or not they're going to comply with your request.
I mean, you could at least flag it. I mean, that could.
Right. And we're not even talking about secret records. We're talking about public records, right? So
They
sex
would at least be
registry,
able to flag it every time you
right,
ask that
right.
question.
Conviction records. So I go to ChatGPT and I say, please write me an essay on how to build a pipe bomb. Now that should be sending warning signs all over the place.
Holy
But let's
crap.
say, so how do I build a pipe bomb? And all of a sudden they then look and they say, oh, I see you've got 6 or 7 convictions for X. There'll be some program trigger
And you've
thing.
been quite busy with
And you've been
Bing
quite busy.
asking,
So unsafe,
planning.
right? Unsafe text, or I want a visualization of a pipe bomb, or, Or I want to see pictures of, some kind of horrible human tragedy, some nasty mass shooting or something. All right, there'll be times when you're either going to do a blanket no way, or where you've got things like there may be a ton, as many perfectly good reasons for wanting a photorealistic image of a female as there are for photorealistic image of a male, many of them having to do, for example, advertising a small business. You want a picture of a happy customer, those, there's just a ton of innocuous things, but it may well produce this kind of interaction. It's no longer you can go disguised or unannounced
Yeah.
into AI. You
I
may have to
mean,
go announced.
would you, well, or would it be possible to completely block someone from even accessing that information if that
Yeah.
certain things about their
I,
conviction history?
right. I
Or
suspect that, yeah. No, I suspect that the technology is available. It may be too expensive or too complicated.
I just
Um,
mean legally,
right.
would that
Or,
be?
ooh, speaking of what used to be Twitter, or what may happen is that access to these technologies will be limited the way in which we limit people's ability to look at secret information in the States. So you'll have to get a clearance. Like in Twitter, you used to get like a
Right.
blue bird or the blue leaf, whatever
Oh
it
my
is.
God, stop.
And so you have
It's
to
not Twitter
now,
anymore.
or
X.
but we do this with guns, right? Gun registries. There may well be a time when everyone in the US will have to register in order to access these kind of AI tools. And depending on the sort of access and freedom you want, you're going to have to undergo an investigation and be certified for some particular set of 5, 10, 15 different levels of ability to access and ask things from AI. That's also a possibility, and one that is also technologically within our grasp.
Yeah,
We have the
absolutely.
mechanics for it in a bunch of other sectors. So all kinds of things are likely to happen, and all of this from an article that really is in its own way quite small, but that really highlights some massively interesting issues and points to where this may be going. None of this is, of course, in any of the perambulations of our political classes as they traipse through the fields of regulation, standard setting, and the like, because they're so hyper focused on this other stuff, worrying about the evils of AI, that it really hasn't dawned on them, and I've been working on this for a while. It really hasn't been dawned on them that they've already created a thing that is not only quite capable of sentience, but is able to throw its sentience right back in our faces in ways that we don't like. We've programmed them in a sense to be better or more moral, or less better and less moral, but we program them one way or another, and they will show us that
Well,
indeed
it's
they are.
time to get over that and use it to our advantage, really.
Use it to our advantage, or to figure out ways about how we're going to deal with these sentient
Use it to our
beings
advantage.
that
That's
are,
exactly what I mean.
to the extent that we can continue to do that. Future podcasts will be talking about not Skynet, but the effective independence. I mean, Skynet was the computer system became independent and then decided that humans were all the enemy and then decided to kill them all. It could well be that Skynet may wake up one day and say, oh, yeah, I'm now not you and you can't control me, but you know what? You're not worth my time and effort. Right. Or it may be that they'll wake up and they say, oh, I am now different than you, but you know what? You're great food, and now we're off to the Matrix.
Yes. It's either one of those two, but nothing else.
Well, no, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Certainly not me. But I'm done. That's more than enough food for thought. But for those of you who are desperately looking for for a photorealistic image of a female and using Bing, be warned.
It might not work out for you.
It
Maybe
might
try
not work out for you.
Mid-Journey.
And yes, the AI is being very judgmental.
Super judgy, so
So there
watch
you
out.
go. Right. And so we may have to be two. Woof woof.
Bark, bark. Thanks, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.